Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, welcome back. Yo, yo, yo. This stream will be the first of its kind since 5 months ago. It will be post DonVo loss, right? Which is a very rare occasion. So we gotta cherish this moment as well. We might not get this ever again. Who knows? But as a result, I'm not expecting too many people to be here. We'll see. We'll see. But it should be a pretty good analysis today, because we potentially are getting our actual push in terms of price action. And if we're actually getting our pushes, that could mean pretty clean higher time frame positions going into tomorrow. But we'll see. Once we do the analysis, we'll have a better understanding of what we're playing with. Overall, the ranges, I feel like they're pretty nice. Pretty nice. Welcome back, everyone. Today's Wednesday, right? So we have one more streams for the week, which is tomorrow. After today, obviously. What then if he loses? Aren't we accepting a loss when we enter a trade? Everyone, yeah, exactly, right? That's the mindset you should have. I mean, if anybody is feeling really down from the loss, let me know, right? We can go through it. We can go through exactly why you're feeling bad. Because at some point, I was taking losses and I was like, oh wow, this is the worst, right? I'd be like, why am I losing? Even if it's like, I was winning occasionally and then I take like a big loss, I'd be like, oh, why? Like that entire weeks of work is now just gone, or like, that 2 or 3 weeks worth of work is now just gone, right? So if you're feeling that it's normal, right? It's part of the process. Let yourself feel like that and you'll just, you'll grow from the experience. I would say people who are just following Don, I think for the last like 5 months, losing is a new thing. It's a very new concept to you guys. We haven't lost if you've traded exactly the stream trades for a long time. So I wouldn't blame you guys if you suddenly are feeling a little bit weird, right? Because it's something new. But yeah, if anybody is feeling like that, just know it's completely normal. We can always use a bit of this session to kind of discuss that. But yeah. Yeah, we're going to be starting hopefully in 2 minutes here. We will see, we will see. Or maybe we'll get more people because people kind of want to see what I have to say after a loss. But we will see. I hope everybody had a good day, regardless of, what your trading outcome was. If you took the trade with us, cool. If you didn't, cool. Same thing, right? Hopefully trading isn't really affecting your emotions outside of trading too much. And like, hopefully you had a relatively good day, right? That overall consistency in your life, routine and all of that, and making sure that you're in the overall, going in a direction that feels right for you, a path of growth. That's the most important thing, right? Going to the gym or doing some exercise to kind of release that stress is also, a way to do it. But yeah, there's lots of ways to do it. Yeah, but cool, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna get started, guys. It has been a while since we had that trade live with Don this morning, right? What has gold done, right? That's the main thing we want to consider, because the loss, right? Cool, we took a 100 odd pip loss, right? That's fine. But what's more important is what's going to happen tomorrow, because I'm still trading tomorrow, right? I don't know about you guys. I'm still trading tomorrow. I want to know what's happening tomorrow, right? So that's my mentality at the moment. Like, every day is a new day. I still need to do my analysis every day before the charts kind of, show me exactly what the position is. I need to do my analysis just for my own understanding, and it's just my overall routine. So nothing has changed essentially. Win, loss, or whatever, my routine is the same. So we're gonna get straight into it. Starting from the monthly, I think, did we come down to break the lows? No, not yet, not yet. Okay. So again, we're in this range, lovely range we're in, 2070 odd to 1990 odd, right? That's the overall range we're in. Understanding that for the month, right? If you want to drive up towards 2073, 2077, that sort of area, you're going to need to come down for liquidity, right, in terms of the monthly range. And you haven't tapped the bottom of the monthly range yet, which is towards 1992, 1991. So at any given point, you can, right? And it's looking like we're probably a little bit more bearish now. So as that's happening, this could be the push for this week that might come down towards the bottom of the range for the monthly, right? And as that happens, it'll be very crucial to see how the weekly is closing, how the monthly is closing, and that will inform us of what price potentially will do for the next couple of weeks, next couple of months, right? But overall, we're still understanding that even though we are in this range, we also have a bullish closure above most recent that we've never closed above, right? So any given point, we are expecting this candle to flip, and once it flips, to drive, right? But then the question is, do you have enough liquidity, right? Because if you don't have enough liquidity, what you could see is just price kind of just hovering, right? So you may even get like a overall breakout above the range, right? Something that looks like this with like a kind of bottom wing. Let's say it's like that. There's a high chance that this candle won't drive. Why? Because you haven't tapped the bottom of the range. You haven't grabbed liquidity in these sorts of areas. And because you haven't done that, price may need to come all the way back down before you're able to do that for next month, right? So you may see a more volatile month in February, right? But it depends. It depends when the liquidity levels have been tapped overall. But the one disadvantage we have of being right here is that we don't know where that liquidity is, right? Because gold has never closed above 1992 in history, right? Until 2 months ago. So we don't really have too much price data to go off of, right? Where does price need to tap into liquidity before it pushes past 2077 in terms of closures, right? But what we can use, right, is the ranges, right? We understand that, once we're pushing, potentially we're in a range, we grab liquidity, and then once we do break above after grabbing liquidity, fantastic, right? Then we'll look to take those buys to continue up, fill the next range, which is towards 2150. And then after that, it might be a little bit more difficult to trade gold, but, we may be in a swing. Who knows? Overall, that's the analysis for the monthly. Key things, I would say just two things, right? Number one, you're in the range. Number two, you are bullish, but you need a bottom wick. All right, so you could still flip. Let's drop down to the weekly. Let's see what's up, right? Overall, we have this kind of range as our weekly. Bottom of the range, you can say your next range, because now you're kind of starting to break below. I would say you could kind of put this level more at around here now, right? Why? Because you have most recent here, you have some rejections here, and overall once you closed above here, you kind of filled up to around here, which is 2044, and this weekly, right, closed respecting, so you kind of established a bit of a range either here, I would say, yeah, just above actually, around 2049. So overall, if that is the range that we're coming down towards in terms of the weekly, it's getting more clear for us, right? Because we're understanding that, like, the ranges, as we continue to mark them up, we need to know what the price reaction is at those kind of levels. Previously, if our level was at 2019, 2018, around 2018 sorts of areas, we kind of saw yesterday that it tapped the level and it started pushing up, right, to reject. But now you're coming back down. So what does that indicate? That potentially indicates that this level is maybe just a smaller time frame level, like on the daily or something, right? But at the moment, you're going to start kind of potentially breaking below, filling the wick to the left, and maybe even start coming down because your overall structure is a little bit more bearish for the weeks, right? For the last like 2, 3, 4 weeks. And we're understanding that if this is the bottom of our range, we're going to get a wick fill. Potentially, if price does break through, we could see price tap into 1966 sorts of areas around here, right? But potentially also this next wick fill to come down here. So there's a lot of range that can be played, right? Sells, you know, obviously we would be looking for more sells as we continue to break the ranges down. But overall, same thing as the monthly, identify where your range is, which is between 2049 and 2000 for me at the moment. It's kind of changed since yesterday's analysis, right? Because we've now come back down. We're starting to break the lows. So we need to look at where the next range is, right? So we have a goal for this week if we're bearish, which is down towards 2000. You have a top wick for the weekly, and I think you had a pretty steep wick for your daily as well. Obviously didn't break all the highs, but you still have a relatively nice top wick, right? So any given point, this could just drive down. We are expecting more liquidity if it wants to drive down past 2000, but 2000 seems to be a relatively achievable goal for price. At least that's what it's looking like at the moment. Cool. Daily. So I would say overall on your daily, your level is a little bit more, let's have a look. You kind of have a level around here, I would say at a 2006. Or exactly here at 2006, yeah. So if that's your overall daily range, I'm understanding that you had some respecting candles here, respecting wicks here, some support, some resistance, some wicks. 2006 is pretty strong, right? It's a pretty strong level. Any given point, price will come and tap 2006 and reject, right? Because it's done so in the past, right? Here, came down, rejected again, grab more liquidity before you were able to push through. But it's pretty clear at the moment that it looks like 2006 is likely going to be tapped, right? Why? Because you've got a daily closure below this range. Previously, you had a daily closure which tapped straight into 2006. You filled the range down to 2006, but you tapped right at it, right? And you closed right at the support. But you filled the range, right? So any given point, price could have reversed, and it did, right? Came back up. We didn't know at this point if this was a fake out for price to continue driving to retest the highs, or if price was just kind of needing more liquidity before we can drive below 2006, right? So as it's looking now, there's a slightly higher chance that price is actually going to start driving back down because you've come up, you've rejected from these highs, now you're breaking these lows again. And as that's happening, right, you're understanding that the next logical step for a price to do is mirror what happened to the left. And every time you've kind of closed below 2016 on the daily, you had a pretty nice drive down to fill 2006, right? Pretty nice drive. Here as well, pretty nice drive down. So 2006 is a pretty achievable goal, right? First of all, you have your wick fill towards 2011 from 2014. And then after that, you have a overall level at 2006, right? So suddenly, right, it's just about, okay, how can we get into the cells to come down? Because your daily's closed below. We have finally a breakout below, just outside of this range, right? This range, we've been in here for a while previously and also most recently. So let's drop down to the 4 to see how we can ride those cells down. So crucially, I think we're gonna have to move our 4-hour level a little bit, right? So we have this here. I would say overall this level here is not bad. I do also have a level here, unfortunately, which it hasn't closed below on the 4. That's fine though, right? We're understanding that overall we're bearish, but bearish needing liquidity, right? Because we've closed at a support on the 4. Right, if the 4 is closed exactly here for me, right, I mean, we can try to confirm this on the hourly, but I'm pretty sure for me, regardless, right, look at this, you don't have liquidity to drive down. If this was a fake out, right, you would have potentially continued to fill the next range, which is down towards 2008, which you didn't even do, right, or potentially even down towards 2007.6. That hasn't happened yet. Overall, we're understanding that price is now closing, potentially respecting this on the hourly, but your 4 hours not looking clean. Right, your 4 hours is looking like you need more liquidity to continue driving down, right? So if that's the case, the 1 hour at the moment is not the stronger time frame. I would say for me, the 4 hour is showing me the kind of better picture, the clearer picture for price action at the moment. And it's pretty crucial to see that, your 4 hour doesn't really have a top wick. If you weren't able to drive down past 2014, get a closure on the 4 hour to drive and fill the range towards 2005, then it probably means that this no top wick is an area where price will need to retest, right, before being able to come back down and push past, which works really well, right? Why? Because that would be the form of a top wick on the daily. And then if we start flipping, we can look to take advantage of this range to come down. So it's just, I think tomorrow will be a relatively easier trading session in terms of direction, because we're starting to get those breakouts. We're understanding where price wants to go. But it's just about how do we get in, right? If it pushes without a top wick, then it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But as it's looking, right, if I'm just looking at like the 30, the 15, the 5, all of this is showing me you have some sort of like support here around 2011. Yeah, I would put it around here, 2011. 20. Yeah, all of this is a little bit messy as well, but I'm pretty happy with this. Every time you close below 2012 here, right, you get a drive. You need to grab liquidity again at 2014 if you get a closure below, but if you initially get that closure below, it's looking like you didn't need too much liquidity and you started driving. In this case, where did you drive towards? Around 2009 at least. How many pips is this to come down though, here to here? That's also 10 pips, which could be your break even potentially. Let's look left a little bit more. You're 30, yeah. I mean, this is not a bad level, I would say. If you're starting to get closures below 2012, you're asking yourself, right, where am I expecting liquidity for us to be able to drive down, right? Because your 4 hour no top wick, where is that? Let's mark that up, right? 4 hour no top wick is here, right? Understanding that last time when price wanted to drive down, we're driving from around to 2036, right? So around this area here. If we're driving from around here, then maybe we're mirroring some of this, right? We've closed respecting. Last time we closed respecting was somewhere around here. Came back up to grab liquidity at around 2019, which we kind of did, right? But then we started closing below. So what do I want to look at now? I want to look at this drive specifically, but on the smaller time frame, right? So what actually happened here? So it's looking like your 4 hour no top wick at 2019 here, right? You came down, you didn't push, you filled 2005, but to continue pushing down, you came back up to grab liquidity at 2015, right? So what is, let's zoom in a little bit more. Let's see what this looks like on the 30, potentially the 15 and the 5. This looks like it filled the range first and then came up to grab more liquidity. Then you get a re-break of the lows. That'd be pretty valid, right? But at the moment, I don't think this is the mirror we potentially could use because we haven't filled the range yet. And we currently are sitting at 2014. For us to get a position right now off the rip is going to be very difficult because I'm expecting a top wick for the daily, especially after how prices have reacted in this kind of zone here. So let's go back. Let's look at another place, right? Simple as, right? So we've been pushing from this area. Let's extend, right? So we kind of came from this area as well, I would say, right? 4 hour daily. Let's have a look at that area. 4 hour daily, looking at here, we pushed from these sorts of areas, came down, couldn't break past. Here we came back up to grab liquidity. 2019 is where a 4 hour top wick is. So cool. If we're looking to tap into liquidity, potentially somewhere around these areas, right? Marking up around, I'd say taking an entry, potentially at 2020 is not bad. Why is that? Because we have direction, right? Price is showing us direction. And it's looking like it's going to come down to continue that bias to come down. So we can look to take advantage of that. I'm going to move this higher just a little bit. Around 20.9, we could be potentially looking for entries there, but the daily needs to have no bottom wick. And if I'm looking at this, right, it's looking like price is going to come up to tap into 2020. But if this is just the next 4 hour candle, then I can't take that. Right? If the 4 hour candle is doing something like this, where it just comes up like this, I probably can't, because I'm understanding that until 2 a.m., which is the next 4 hour close for me, there's not really that much volume. So any given point, price can do this, right? It can close like this with no top wick and then continue to push up before flipping, right? And I want to probably wait for this to happen and just not sit through that drawdown, right? Because I don't know how far this is going to push up. There still is a chance that price can continue to reverse, right? Because we've closed at a support here. But I would say it's slightly more unlikely. I think your overall bias is definitely bearish for tomorrow. Understanding that once you create that top wick for price, you should be pretty good to start reconfirming the lows. So if you get a tap into here, but with no top wick, right? Sorry, no bottom wick for the daily, but your 4 hours just pushing up and it closes relatively bullish, right? So if it closes like this, then I probably need to wait for the next 4 hours to confirm top wick and then probably close either like respecting like this with the top wick, or like, you know, relatively bearish below, and then after that we can look for a top wick and then down again, right? That'd be one of the cases. Or if price comes up, right? Oops, sorry. If price comes up bullish, something like this, but then like starts rejecting and then closing like kind of below this level here, right? Closing like this with like a top wick that's relatively steep. Next candle does this, right? Pushes up, fills the wick, and then starts flipping bearish. What I'll look to have is potentially a sell stop on the flip of the 4 hour, the next 4 hour, right? But again, that's just the kind of concept we'll need to see price kind of print before that kind of happens. But yeah, that's what I would say. The issue with this being a mirror is that this already kind of happened here, right? This push didn't happen. So there's a high chance that you'll still struggle a little bit here because you had some traffic around here, right? So we need to confirm that we have the liquidity that is required for us to continue driving past this range. And that liquidity could be at 2020, put a 2021 sort of areas because it's 2020.9, right? Or it could be even higher. Like we could come all the way back up to 2032. Because if we look at the smaller time frame, you have some hourly no top wicks, right? So yeah, it's very dependent on where price actually wants to tap into. But regardless of any situation, I'm expecting the daily to create a top wick for us. And then once we start flipping bearish, we can look to ride those sells down, right? Overall, again, the direction for the day is relatively clear, I would say. Yeah. Yeah, I would say overall, for the sells to kind of happen, right? You first need to tap into 2020. That's like the only thing I would say price needs to do before I can start hunting, right? When Don talks about like, oh yeah, are you hunting currently for a trade or whatever? What do you need to see, right? And this is exactly what I want to see. I want to see a daily top wick. I want to see a 4 hour break of the highs. I want to see an hourly that comes up to the next kind of the next range up, right? And then once that happens, we can look to see if price is giving us an opportunity to get into a sell. But as of now, and how market's going to open, who knows? Who knows? You could see price just drive down immediately, right? But I'm not expecting price to come down at past 2005 if this is the liquidity it has, right? If the next daily candle starts off bearish, then cool, maybe it'll drive down to 2005, but I'm not expecting it to push way past, right? Because if it is, I'd expect it to come up, create a top wick, and then as it's reflipping bearish, then cool, we can look to take price continuing down to the next range. But that's kind of like what I'd like to see for price, at least for me to get into a position, right? If price really does want to drive, yeah, you'll see it drive. Let's check news. I think that's one of the next things to do. News for tomorrow. News for tomorrow, we do have unemployment claims, which is a pretty big folder. They're expecting greater numbers, which is bad for currency, right? So that's good for gold. So if that's, if that is potentially price pushing up, okay, that kind of changes things a little bit, because now we're understanding that gold may be experiencing some bullish news, right? So how can we factor that in as a potential part of our analysis, right? So if I'm understanding that I want 2020 to get tapped, what could happen? Well, price can either come up or it can come down, right? Let's assume it comes down first, right? Following the rest of this momentum, say it comes down first. That's fine because we have news. If news pushes price up to tap this area, we will look for a re-break of the lows given that it has not tapped 2005. I will say that with a certainty, right? I know that is a position Don will look for if that is exactly what happens, right? Because that will confirm that that is the daily high, right? If we're pushing down, okay, cool. We're understanding that we're coming down. Any given point it can tap in 2005, but if it doesn't, right, and then it starts flipping bullish, then at that point the candle is going to look like this, right? As it's flipping up, right? The candle is going to be looking like this with a bottom wick, and the daily could drive upwards, right? Because that could be, price not having enough liquidity for us to come down. So this could be the liquidity grab, the break of the lows for us to continue up. But once we tap into 2020, right, that's going to be the creation of the top wick for the daily. And then after that, if we then re-break this low, there's no place price needs to go besides 2005. Firstly, you have a daily breakout, right? Then you have a daily top wick. Then you have a flip of the daily candle after creating a steeper top wick. You then also have a 4-hour break of the highs, and then potentially a closure, on the smaller time frames below certain ranges as well, once you're closing below here. So it's pretty much the perfect trade we'd be looking for, right? So that's if price comes down first. So what happens if price comes up first, right? That's what I'm asking myself now. So let's say price does this. Oh, okay, we're coming up. News pushes price down, right? Let's say that's case one. News say it pushes price down, and we essentially have something that looks like this after news, like say 5 minutes after news. If we've tapped in 2005, again, not much I can do, unfortunately, right? Then we may be looking for closures below 2005, and once that happens, maybe top wicks to come down, right? Maybe top wicks, I don't even know where, maybe around this sort of area, or maybe this sort of area, 2012, 2014, right? But if that happens, then cool. We'll look for, breakouts below 2005 to continue that bearish momentum, right? But if price hasn't filled the entire range and it's kind of looking like this, where you do have a top wick, and then you've come down something like this, after you get that 5 closure below, I'd look for a pretty steep top wick, right? So if you've tapped into this, then I probably don't need as steep of a top wick. But if it hasn't tapped into that kind of overall area, I'll probably be looking for like wicks around, seems to be the break of this high potentially, right? But let's say this is like here or something, which is just above. Let me just redraw this candle. Let's say it's like all the way up here, right? In this case, I'd look for a pretty steep top wick to break certain highs, right? Up to potentially above 2014. And then once we flip, we can take advantage of this range coming down towards 2005. That's what I would say is pretty good, pretty good move for us to continue filling the rest of the daily range. But yeah, I would say basically we factored in every single possibility for gold, in terms of like including news, in terms of like what the ranges are that's being played. If we do get closures above 2020, I'm expecting a break of these lows if that hasn't happened, right? So let's say price is now closing above. Cool, right? Even if your daily doesn't have really a bottom wick because it hasn't really broken this low, what I expect is either a pretty steep bottom wick to come up, right? Break the daily lows or whatever. That's probably the minimum I'll need to see. Likely probably also a break of these lows. Why? Because you're so bearish. You have a daily closure below the range after consolidating here for such a long time, right? So I'll need some pretty steep confirmations for me to take buys above 2020. But yeah. The other way I can get buys is if news pushes down very, very aggressively. Let's say news comes let's say we have a top wick for the day, right? And the news just comes down and just does something like this. And then as that happens, we get a pretty aggressive retracement. And then we start closing back above like these areas, right? Then we can potentially look to mirror this, right? All of this to the left, as long as we're respecting certain levels, right? So on the hourly, maybe respecting 2005 or whatever. And once we start getting those closures again above these levels, then yeah, maybe we can look to take price back up. But again, I'll need pretty steep bottom wicks, right? Looking at this, I'll need, once this closes above, if it doesn't have that bottom wick, I'll wait for that bottom wick to be tapped, and then I'll look for positions above, right? After tapping into kind of this sort of area here. So overall, again, I'm still appreciating that both buys and sells can happen, right? I am very much more bearish than I am bullish for tomorrow. But again, anything can happen. But that's the analysis for the day, essentially. Pretty clean analysis, I would say. The position that we took today, I think the only thing which was annoying is that potentially didn't work out for us. I think we potentially looked at this yesterday. I'll confirm with the Zoom later, right? But overall, we were looking for higher time frame to get tapped, right? Which is around this area. I said it was going to be difficult to get into a buy at this area because the daily closed bullish, but respecting, right? But any given point, it still can break through. And I think your daily had a pretty nice bottom wick down to around like 2022 or whatever. So after that, we were expecting potentially a push up, but I guess the daily took over in terms of the time frame, which is why it started reversing, right? But now it's reversing. It showed us that direction. We get a breakout. Yeah, it should be relatively clear for tomorrow, even for runners potentially. Maybe we make back the entire trade in one, right? Maybe it'll take us 10 trades. Maybe it'll take us 20 trades, but it doesn't really matter, right? As long as we have the account to trade, that is all that matters. But yeah, cool. We have a full house on the Zoom. Let's see. I don't know if you guys remember Zooms. Did we mention that the buys there were going to be difficult today because of the daily closure?
I can't remember. Potentially.
I think we did. Maybe.
It was. I would have said it was an ambitious buy.
Yeah, I
think
think
because that's exactly where we've had. That's the area we've been having top wick rejections.
Yeah, it's just you would think that like if you want to re-break the highs, like either this would have happened, right, or something, right? Like even this creating a top wick just for that.
I mean, I guess the thing is that at that point, I'm more interested in like a range 2 breakout. Or a breakout of the general range.
As in like here?
Taking, if it broke out like above 2040.
Yeah, above here, you could probably look to take these up.
Probably what I would have. Like at that point, I'm more interested in sells back down.
Yeah.
Because we sort of trickled.
Yeah.
In my opinion, up.
I would say the main thing is though, like you were respecting this range here, you were respecting all of this here. But the thing is, you didn't close above 2035. So, and then also your next range going up was around 2040. So, like it was, yeah, I think what we just tried to get was at least like probably like a retest of like at least this level around 2038 here. But I guess that didn't happen, which is fine. Jack Cameron.
It makes sense. I mean, having watched it back, it bottom whipped first as well, pretty far.
Yeah, because the daily it came down first, right?
And the daily had its bottom wick as well.
Exactly, yeah. So it looked like it was okay, but I guess that's one thing we can learn from, right? So potentially next time we see a bullish closure or like right out of support for the daily, it's still difficult. That's why we need those confirmations, and now we potentially need one more for that trade too.
I checked the live from yesterday. We said that we were anticipating a bottom wick to 2016 and then a closure above 2031.
2016, yeah. So I mean, you tapped 2016, right? So yeah, right now, if you then close above 30 sorts of areas, yeah, you can take that off the rip, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I say it's difficult. But again, with the daily conditions being like you have a bottom wick around 2023, yeah, I could see why it was confusing.
I guess the only thing was that I felt that it hadn't filled the range down before coming up.
Yeah, you need to fill it.
And so I didn't think we'd grab liquidity to be able to push up.
Yeah. For sure.
And then when it broke those highs, it didn't break any of the lows to close up there.
Probably needed some extra liquidity to go up. But I guess, yeah, overall I would have expected, even if it wanted to come down this steep, it would have done something like this.
Yeah, I was surprised it fell like that.
Yeah, but that's why our
win
rate is never 100.
It came down with the top works as well.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It was...
It's pushing, yeah.
Because, I was in a sell and was in a lot of drawdown. And then it came down and I just had it at break even. Because the way it was coming down, I thought it might just about tap break even and then flip back up.
Yeah, with the daily having a bottom wick and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then it didn't. It
Yeah.
literally it tapped break. It like came within 5 pips of break even, and then dropped 30.
Yeah. AB Mike. Or would we... Whoa, where did this question start? I don't know. Or would we then switch to taking buys above? Since overall we're so bearish that the buys don't look that strong. Yeah, I mean, for the buys, we kind of need to see pretty strong. Like, firstly, we need to break the lows, tap into 2005. After that, I can probably start considering buys. If not, it's difficult. Jack, you took the same position, I think, right? Yeah.
It's fine, right? Because now we get full margin on the next one.
Oh, now it's like a 105% win rate. What if the 4 hour
if you think about it, it was 62 wins, right? So
yeah, like
percentage wise,
the
right?
statistics on that,
It's like 0.4 for a loss. So yeah.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, 62 to 1. Bro. What if the 4 hour opens up bullish and news pushes us up as well? Would you look for it to tap 20, 28, 20, 30 levels and reject to take the sells down? If news just pushes price up, I don't think we can take any buys until we kind of start forming some bottom wicks, I would say. I would say, like, if news just pushes price like this to continue up, I think I would still need, if this level hasn't been tapped around like 2010 up to like 2006, ideally 2005, if that hasn't been tapped, I probably can't get buys tomorrow until you probably break above either 2030 or like off the rip probably here. But it's going to be difficult for you to drive so far. It's going to be difficult. Yeah, you'd have to fill the range, exactly, Pazza. So you didn't see which position you're on about? I mean, Jack, did you take Don's position? I'm pretty sure you did, right? I'm pretty sure all of us did. All of those who were kind of mods on the stream, I would assume. Buys at around what? This was the tip, 2036. Yeah, it's not often Jack gets clapped though. Yeah, I saw your Bitcoin position. When did you? I think you were trading Bitcoin, right? I think over the weekend or something. Pretty strong. Pretty strong. Bitcoin's pushed up. Oh, you closed a bit early, got out. Yeah, so I think that's also another thing. Like, as price is doing something like this, right? It's closing like this, so bearish below, no top wick here, and then it starts closing back below. You could probably exit, if not here, like probably around these areas. But our stop loss was around here anyway, so it wasn't too far. In terms of trying to get out earlier, I think what we could have potentially done was, the thing is, this had no top wick. You'd expect this to have a top wick.
And also news candle, that one.
This one?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I
the
think
45, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, I don't think you could have done anything with the news candle as well, but after rebroke news, probably could have got out earlier, maybe. But again, once you were there, you're only like 20 pips away.
I think. I think I would have closed before news.
Yeah.
Because then you're just kind of flipping on.
Thing is, with the
news
news that was coming out, I think typically, like, if our stops are all the way there, like, if it pushes all the way down, then yeah, fair enough, right? But overall, if it does start to push up, or even if it pushes down first, we think that overall it needs more liquidity at these areas, or if it's pushed down all the way to here, right? We'd expect some liquidity to be grabbed again around these areas before getting all the way down. So once you kind of slow down around this area, potential pineapples to continue back up, and then we can exit break even here. That was probably one of the concepts we were thinking about. But overall, it's just, yeah, we didn't really see any of that structure being formed. Ooh, Jack, you made 7% on the Bitcoin one. Yeah, that was large. 80 mic love the analysis. Yo.
Yeah, for this trade today, could you say that overall, like, market structure was still bearish?
I would say the main thing is just the daily. If you just look at the daily close respecting any given point, you could flip. So you needed, I guess, like hindsight, right? Hindsight, you needed slightly more confirmation that the daily bottom wick was the bottom wick. And I think, like, if you just look at this overall, you had a pretty small bottom wick for the previous daily. So if it came down, broke the lows, tapped into around 2015. I think this is why I wanted 2015, 2016, right? Break these lows, once you start heading back up, you probably have more confirmation that it's going to continue up because you're breaking this daily low and this daily low, which in terms of your structure, if you're looking at it, right, it's coming, doing this, coming down. If you're doing this and then re-breaking the high chance you're going to continue up, right? Whereas before that, you were kind of just hovering and then you came up first before coming down. So that's the only thing I can say. But during the actual day, your daily had a bottom wick, which wasn't like, it was pretty steep down to around here. For how many pips was this?
I mean, it was steep.
70
It just
pips.
it just hadn't filled the daily range.
Yeah.
So could you say we could have just waited for like a breakout above like a better level?
I would say the 30 closing above, I think here, right? It would have been fine if your hourly also potentially closed above this range at 2035. And also, I think your previous 4 hour kind of closed respecting here. I think, yeah.
So the 4 closed respecting that, and then the next, like, if you go on the 1, so my range is actually just above where that 1 hour like doji candle was.
You had it here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you close respecting, and then this is like, yeah, potential liquidity for you to come down. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of, I guess, things we can potentially analyze now.
In hindsight, right?
Hindsight, exactly. AB Mike, glad to see you improving. Yeah, I feel like that's just kind of what DVS is trying to provide, just overall knowledge, reading price action, using no indicators to read the direction of price, even though we took a loss. Ignore the loss. Based on the daily, you closed below that 2018-ish level. Yes, yeah, around here, 2019, yeah, assuming that's the basis for the 2005 tap first tomorrow. Yeah, so essentially, even if price wants to go up in terms of structure now, right? If you wanted to go up, you would have gone up here or here the second time. But both times you close respecting, either that's indicating you don't have enough liquidity to go up or you just don't want to go up, right? And also, right, you have these top wicks and then rejections to come down. Now you have a closure back below. If this move here wasn't a fake out in terms of like a bullish fake out to come back into the range to fill, then this could be your fake out to come down, right? And if that is the fake out, you're going to see at least, because once you close below 2018, right, if you just look left, every time you close below, I don't think it was even that level, just even below, like, what was the daily level? Let me get rid of some lines, too many lines here. But your daily level is around here, right? At around 2016. You close below 2016. According to all of this, every time you close below 2016, you drived and you filled 2005. So I'm expecting 2005. Doesn't mean I 100% will get a position down to 2005, right? But if that is what I'm expecting, you know, we can anticipate potential like top wicks, different ways we can get into entries to come down. But it's filled it every single time. So you just have to think about where the top wick area is. And for us at the moment, I think top wick area is towards around 2020, 21 sorts of areas for now. But we'll see. A lot can happen, but at least you have some form of direction. It wouldn't be out of the question if you saw like potentially price do something like this, where you have a bullish closure that's respecting 2020, something like this. Your next candle, because we mentioned that if this happens, we can't get into a sell off the rip, right? We need to reconfirm exactly where that top wick is, but I don't know where that is, right? So any given point, this could even come back up to these areas and then flip bearish. And if that happens, don't get into, like, I think you can potentially look for the buys above here, but you need to reconfirm this bottom wick, right? Because again, I'm very bearish for the day. So to take a buy, I'm going to need a lot of confirmations. So if this happens, sorry, if it does like you get some closures above like 2036 on like the lower time frames, it's still going to be difficult for me to get into a buy. I'm going to need a confirmation, which is probably either a break of the lows, fill to 2005, or you know, some pretty steep bottom wicks for me to reconfirm that. Top wicks around 36. I don't think you're gonna come back up to 36 for a top wick. If you're coming back up to 36 for a top wick after like, you know, potentially breaking the lows, then I don't think you're gonna come back down. If you haven't, right, and you're kind of just popping up now immediately to come up to 36, I mean, if you think about what the daily is going to look like in that case, right? It's just one pretty bullish candle that looks like this. Then you can probably imagine this is probably another fake out for us to retest. But I probably wouldn't be able to get into any trades until you either tap into this area or get some pretty steep bottom wicks along the way. And then I'd probably get a pretty good trade on Friday, understanding that this is a fake out to come back in. But every time you've closed below, you've filled, right? You filled, so I'm expecting it to fill as well. That's just what I think should happen for price. But if it does something like this, right, like not that steep of a bottom wick, but it closes above, what you could be expecting is your next candle to come down towards around here, flip up to fill this range. And why do I say around 2016? Because just look left. Look at this structure, right? That structure here is you closed above here, 2031 on the daily, came back down to grab liquidity to continue back up, right? So yeah, wait, where did my wick go? Yeah, something like that. Does that make sense? But overall, I would say the chance of this happening is very low. Obviously, you do have news, so you could see this. Still, I would say high chance you're going to see it drive down to 2005 first. But I don't know. I can't anticipate the top wick for now. It could be 2020. It could be anywhere. Yeah, I think that's ideal for all of us. Yeah, if it taps around 2022, right? 2021, that's kind of like the mean average area. If that happens and then we get into some sells as it comes down, that'd be fantastic, right? Breakouts below 2012, you have some pretty clean range, 70 pips, 65, 67 to come down. Yeah, it's nice. It's also like that is just a reconfirmed direction, because we have confirmation on the daily, right? We just need a little bit more confirmation on the daily that it's not going to continue driving up first, right? Based on the mirror, could you take the wick entry and wait for the support? Wick entry at 2020, no. Unless the only way I can get that wick entry is if price is doing something like this, right? Right, and then it potentially breaks the lows, and then after that comes up to tap here, then yeah, maybe. But this break of the lows will need to be like, you know, potentially like a 4 hour that closes like bearish below the range like this. Next 4 hour comes up with no top wick here, and then I'm expecting it to flip, right? So I can potentially look for those wick entries here. But that's if like during this range we don't really break all the highs or whatever, then we get a breakout, and then I just need liquidity, right? But that's probably the only way I can get a wick entry. Again, like all of these situations can happen. It's just, that's why like me explaining all the different situations, all the like I'm not Doctor Strange, right? I can't see everything at the same time. So we need to see how price is printing as we continue with price action. Because anything can happen. Like literally, the candles can close exactly how they want to, and I have no control of that, right? If I could, bro, I'd be so rich if I could control candles. If anybody asked me what my super... Nah, that's way too nerdy. That's way too trady. Nah, fuck that. Can't imagine like at a house party. Imagine you're at a house party and you're just like, oh yeah, somebody's asking, oh, so you know, what superpower would you have if like, I don't know who would ask you that question anyways, but then you say like, oh yeah, I wish I could control candles on Oanda. Bruh. Kick that guy out.
You seem like that guy.
I am that guy. I'm so sorry.
Seems pretty confident in talking.
That is me. That is me. I would kick myself out.
Also, you know how we were talking about win streaks like yesterday,
Yeah.
and you were going, "Oh, I don't even know if Don's going to take a loss."
I wasn't
Yeah.
actually jinxed it.
was it me? Yeah. Sorry guys, that's my fault. I'm the
I actually
reason we
think
didn't
you
get
should
to 63.
give him the money you lost today.
Oh yeah, the 47k. Oh.
Flip the last 20 seconds and send it to him.
Yeah. It's okay. I just need another like 20 win streak, and then if I just double my account every single time, I can probably pay him back.
Just send him a good signal.
Exactly. Just a signal. He just needs some buy or sell signals.
You just need to send him a 170 signal. How hard can it be?
It's not that hard. Let's be honest. Let's see, AB Mike. Yeah, no point over analyzing with when the market's closed, right? Do another analysis like closer to New York, or when you're trading, or when you're planning on trading that session. Just do an analysis when you kind of wake up or when you start trading. Because this is valid, until you start moving outside of the ranges. Once you tapped in 2005 or 2020, then it's like anything can happen here. It's like here, right? We mentioned it yesterday. If you tap into this area, where's price going to go? I don't know, but I know it's probably going to either tap here or 2016, and you tap both, right? It's just, I don't know what order that's going to be. If it taps here and then here, maybe I can look for buys. If it taps here, then here, maybe I can look for sells. Same with today, right? If we tap into 2005 first, and then we start rejecting or whatever, maybe we can take some buys towards 2020, right? As we mentioned around here. But if we tap into 2020 first and then start closing below, we haven't tapped 2005, looks like I'm taking a sell towards 2005. But yeah, I would say today's analysis. What would you guys give it in terms of a score? Like, how easy was it to read price for you today?
During the day?
No, today, like as in right now.
Right now?
Like during the stream, like, because we always do the breakdown, right? And then I give a score.
Let's go with an 8.
You're gonna go with an 8. Pazza, why are you rating out of 8? That's exactly what I do. I'm gonna give it like
I would
a
probably go with 6.
6 out of 8 or 6 out of 10.
No, out of 10. But that's also more of...
8, man.
Yeah, I rate things out of 8.
No, for myself, just of understanding it.
Okay. What do you think? What do you think about? Oh, we're gapping up. Okay. I mean, what do you think is confusing potentially for you?
I think it's just that I'm not so long in the game yet.
Okay. So I mean, yeah. What is it? Do you think that is confusing you? Would you say?
I think just previous price action to understand a little bit more, and then also with the ranges or the levels to mark up. I think.
Okay.
I mean, to be fair, I have marked up my own levels before the stream, and we had a lot of the same levels.
Yeah, that's
We
good.
had previously also one at 2014 that I had marked up.
Yeah,
can
I mean,
actually-
there is also kind of a level here I can see, right? You close respecting. Yeah, of course. I think that you have like smaller ranges around there as well. You have some traffic around there. Yeah, 2014 is definitely also a level. I'm just thinking like overall.
There's on the 4 hour. If you
Yes,
stick
that's-
a level out
that's the
2014,
one.
there's a massive rejection.
Yeah.
That is what I've marked up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I'm just doing it every day as learning, so to say, mark it up, and then when you do your analysis, I just compare, or I mean, just see if I'm having the right feeling, so to say.
Yeah. Fair
Getting
enough.
more confident with it.
Yeah.
I mean, today I think it's quite simple because it's either this was a drop as a fake out and it's going to come up and mirror what happened on like the 11th, 12th of Jan, or
Yeah.
we're now breaking out to come down.
Yeah, I would say
2092.
I would say
is the
like
general
this.
target.
This was more of a fake out because clearly you didn't have enough liquidity to drive down because hindsight, right? It looks like you came down, you created a lower low. So in this case, it's more likely for it to fill this range because you're still continuing the bearish bias, right? You've broken the most recent lows. It's looking like you got a breakout below the range, right? And on your daily, you've got a pretty nice closure. So overall, the range fill to 2005 makes more sense. And that's the daily level that I have, right, at 2016. So the 2014 level is a 4 hour, 1 hour level, which again, definitely does make sense. But it's just, if I'm thinking about it in terms of the 4 hour, then I'm worried about this. Whereas I know the bigger picture is showing me that you have a very nice range fill on the daily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if it fakes out, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I would say so as well. So
And I don't think I'd take anything until above like 2040.
yeah, it'd be difficult
if it comes
to.
up.
Unless it creates really steep bottom wicks, then
Yeah, unless it gives you really good price action structures, buys are really hard.
Yeah, I'd say like, okay, so wick areas around here, I would say, guys. 20.9 towards around 2022, right? This wick here, just literally just this. Right, we're understanding that overall price previously close below, right? Before you were able to fill the entire range, you came up to tap around this area at 2022, and then after that you fill the range. That's it. That's like, it's one mirror, I think, for the entire duration. And you're gapping up first. This is like fantastic. I am so happy right now.
Watch people setting their sell limit right now.
That is not a good idea.
This is why Dom calls a swing trade.
The thing is, I
That
don't
might
think
be the
we'll get,
160 pip.
the only thing we can't get I don't think we'll get a swing trade for a while. Yeah, it's going to be difficult to get a swing trade. I think the only way you can get a swing trade is if the monthly closes bearish, but like respecting 1991, and then potentially also like your weeklies are closing bullish, respecting, starting to come up, and then you have a really steep bottom wick that comes down towards, like, I don't know, these sorts of areas. Like,
What's the level, like 1930 something?
yeah, something around like these areas. I would say like this wick here potentially, or like these ranges here. I would maybe look for that, but it's still like, because the swings, I would say they are probably more bullish for now because of the monthly closure, and until you get like really confirmed bearish closures below 1991 on the monthly, it's difficult to take bearish swings. Even though the swaps would be great for us, I don't think we can do it. Yeah,
Do you think you could recap the swing from, I know it's from December, but
yeah, I just need to know where the entry was. 2000 and something, right?
Can you not put it up on your
I can find it. Where's my phone? Yeah, it's just if I open another application on my computer, I'm gonna crash.
Oh.
100%.
I tell you what then, if you just give me access to that account.
Ah, great shout. Why didn't I think of that? That is honestly my bad. Let's have a look. Oh, okay, so that one was at...
could have been the 18th of December.
It was like 27th of November.
Or something like that.
It was ages ago. 27th November. Whoa, this is September. Okay, so we're still around here. It's around this area. Here, 27th, which is here. Okay. So around here. Yeah, let's just say it was around here, right? Let's just say we executed a buy around here. I think our stop loss in that sense, overall, I think it's because the monthly came down, created quite steep low, and then as you're re-breaking this high,
Alright.
I think that was probably it,
And
to be honest.
he probably wanted to have the wick fill then.
Your stop
the
loss
top
is
right.
probably here, to be honest. 27th, right, of November, which is around this area. Wait, no, 27th, which is, yeah, this area, right? So if we got in around here, which is just a break of this high, expecting after this massive liquidity, not that much of a bottom wick, which you didn't get, right? To continue that push up, and then your stop loss, if you do break this liquidity low, yeah, you're probably gone, right? I would say that's probably the swing. It's less of like a wick entry swing, and just more a normal kind of breakout entry for us, but it's just on the higher time frame, which is like the weekly and the monthly.
Ah.
Yeah. I think we closed some at like 2019 as well. So we caught like 90 pips already, and then we let it run, and then it hit 1,000 pips. Which was pretty nuts. What lot size was I using? Let's check. Oh, I was using a 0.05 lot. Damn. Yeah, W position though. What is the daily doing? Oh, you're pushing up. This is nice, guys. This is very nice. If the daily can push, what would be so ideal is if the 4 hour respected some level and started creating like an onion for us, and then gets a top wick. We'd look for those nice sells to come down. I think that'd be pretty ideal.
Just 30 pips away.
Yeah, it's not too far. But that's a nice gap up. That is very nice. Oh, this might even happen during Asian.
Only. Just drew 50 pips already.
Yeah, this might happen during Asian. 2028?
No, actually 30 pips. No.
Yeah, 30 pips is, I mean, that's quite a lot for like market open.
True.
Typically, right? Would you take the daily flip if it were to create a steep top wick at 2023? Yes. For today, yes. Because the daily flip at this point, right? Either the daily flip or the break of the daily previous daily lows. I would say if it comes up, breaks past 2023, creates like a top wick potentially for this candle, like somewhere around these sorts of areas. Let's see, right? Last time you broke below, you came from here. You didn't really have too much information there. I think we checked already. Here, I mean, yeah, if it comes up anywhere above, like if it starts tapping into like 2028 or whatever, then yeah, daily flip. 28, that's around here. Yeah, I mean, that's a long shot, right? But I think, yeah, once you start breaking above these sorts of areas, if it's close to like the 4 hour or the 1 hour close, then probably I need to wait a little bit. So in the case where you're hourly, let's say, right, let's go to the hourly, right? Let's say your hourly is closing like this, right? No top wick, sorry, no bottom wick, and then it starts closing like this. What I'd like it to do is potentially respect this level here, and then what I'd wait for, right, is either is going to be this, right, a bearish closure respecting the range with the top wick to come down, and then after that, what we look for is potentially a top wick again, and you probably can take this position to continue down, to be honest, a break of this low, and then you have this as your advantage point, the daily flip, and then you can probably ride this down towards 2005, and that would give you a really nice entry. Essentially, that would give you a top wick entry for your daily, right, after confirming the highs, because there's no reason for price to reject here, create a resistance, then probably if you can re-break the highs, great. If you can't, I'm still expecting that if you do break this low, with the overall daily bias being bearish and also the daily no bottom wick, right, expecting price to come down, break this low at least if it wants to even grab liquidity to continue up. So at that point, your kind of range is this, right? From 2016 towards around 2011. It's a 50 pip range, which is not bad at all. So I mean, we'll see if that happens. But that's the plan. We have a plan. Let's just see if price kind of prints us the exact setup and yeah. But this is nice. This is nice. Your 15 years closed bullish. What is your 15 range? Did I take Don's trade? Yes, absolutely. I trust that man with my life. Well, not quite, right? But yeah, basically, I would probably always because I like when we're on the streams and everything. You look at his analysis, you know, because my analysis and everything I'm teaching you guys is also based off of his strategy as well, right? So basically, it makes sense to me as well. But yeah, 15 range is around here, right, at 2016 sorts of areas. So you didn't close above. We'll see. See you, Jack. Thanks for coming around. Wait, Jack. Let me add you into the... Let me ask Soko to add you into the... Because if you're here, you might as well join the thing. Where is Soko? They're just the Discord, the group, right? So you can join the calls. Yeah, fluidity. I'm looking for the daily to create a top wick for us at around this area. But after this, it doesn't mean I'm definitely gonna get into wick entry sell, right? Yeah, no worries, Jack. Have a good night, mate. Maybe you can teach us a thing or two about Bitcoin. How to catch 7% drops on Bitcoin. On the daily time frame, for the most part, every time we closed at 2014, we drove down to 90. On the daily time frame, below 2014.2. We didn't close below 2014.2, did we? Ooh, that's a tight one, mate. Yeah, man, you're pretty good. Oh, Jack, you're in the group. You can join the Discord already. But if you're going to just join up tomorrow or something, because you're going to bed. Wait, so 2014.2, you drove down to 1992. Wait a second. So you're telling me you're gonna hold from here to here for 220 pips? Looks like I'm gonna be able to pay Don back.
I was about to say, isn't that not quite a far range?
That looks like my debt is cleared. Thank you for the signal. But I mean, like, I think, like, look at this case, right? This case you closed at 2005. These ones, yeah, you pushed, but these you also had wick rejections around these areas. You grabbed more liquidity and then you were able to push. I would say once you do get a closure below 2005, given that you have enough liquidity, then yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, closure below 2002, 2005, I think you're better off and waiting for that first. In terms of the actual, like, drive to come down towards the bottom of your range, which is around 19, I don't know, what? Like down towards these areas, 1990 at least, right? But yeah, wait for that closure below 2005. If that happens, great, right? We're also trading back into these areas, which we have a lot of data on, which is fantastic. We don't really want to be trading up here. We want to be trading where we have data, right? Jack, let me check. Yeah, Jack, you do. I just added you in the group. It's called. Scroll down on the DVS. It's the same DVS group. It's just a separate location for it. Like it's just if you scroll down on the left hand side, yeah. Then you see Zoom links. It's a separate thing, and then you can just hop in. It is you. It is you. Mr. Cameron.
Elvis?
What's up?
Not to FOMO over about it, but what do you think are the chances of, because you mentioned that could happen in Asia,
Yeah.
that we could tap like the level of 2020, 2022 and then drive down? I mean, I don't really have the knowledge with price action if something like that can happen because it's like a lot of range, you know, like 70 pips up and then like straight 200
Yeah.
pips down, so to say.
Yeah. I would say like
just-
if you're thinking about like kind of trying to put like a sell limit or like, you know, be able to trade while you're like kind of sleeping for Asia, I would
No,
say
not for-
okay, then I mean in general though, I think like if you don't typically trade Asian, there's no need to trade it. Even if it drives down to 2005,
yeah.
that's fine. Like it drives down,
Yeah.
we'll have another position, right? Like the positions aren't like, oh, tomorrow if I don't catch this, I'm never gonna catch a position like this. Like it's true. We want a clean position like this to happen, but at the same time, tomorrow's position could be really bad, right? We could come down really close towards this area and then start flipping bullish, and it's like, oh, what are we gonna do? But we can't really take the sells down because we don't have enough range. Like all of that could happen, right? So you also have more range below 2005. So if you are closing bearish below,
Yeah.
you have even more range, and that's fantastic. You have arguably even like, yeah, like further areas to drive to. Because at that point, your monthly is going to come down towards your 1990 level, right? So that's our overall what we're expecting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't,
Alright.
I wouldn't FOMO over that, but yeah, it's all good.
No, I don't like. I don't do these like overnight things. That's
Yeah,
like gamble
yeah.
for me because you have no control.
But
just giving
also,
it out to-
yeah, also what I would say is like, for example, look at this, right? You know, you closed below here. It took you 1, 2, and then your third day drove below.
Alright,
So there's no need to like, even if you don't catch today, there's a high chance you may catch something tomorrow, and then maybe Monday will be the drive, right? So just wait for that to happen. Like, and if it happens like this as well, because this is Thursday, this is Friday, right? Sorry, this was Monday, whatever. But if this is Thursday and then Friday for us, that means that our weekly will have a bottom wick. For the next candle, we'll have a weekly top wick, and then as it's pushing down, that's fantastic, right? We'll get a monthly closure somewhere in between these areas, or potentially even below here, and then we can look to take price down even further, and that would align perfectly as well, right? So
for sure.
yeah, we have loads of range to play with.
Alright, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. I'm probably gonna also end it around here, guys. It is way past Mo's bedtime, so I need to let him sleep. Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for joining up, guys. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. I think that is going to be the last day of the streams. But yeah,
Thank you for the session, Elvis.
that's all right. It's all right. Thanks
Good
for
night,
joining up,
everyone.
guys. Night. Goodbye.
Cheers.
Goodbye. Everybody on the YouTube, thanks for joining up once again. Yeah, W analysis. I think it's good to kind of stay here and understand price just a little bit better, right? It gives us a little bit more information of what could happen tomorrow, and it's a slightly different viewpoint from some other people, but overall, right, it's more viewpoints is always slightly better than no viewpoints, right? But don't let those confuse you. If you have your own plan, if you have your own strategy, trade that. right? You don't necessarily have to listen to what a guy is trying to say at like 11:30 p.m. in London, right? There's nothing bounding you to listening to me. But hopefully you guys all learnt, maybe one thing or two. Main thing is that after the loss today, nothing has changed. We will be back on the charts tomorrow, and taking positions as normal, right? So yeah, sounds good. It's been great, and I will see you guys all tomorrow for the last streams of the week. But yeah, thanks for joining, guys, and have a good rest of your day. Peace.